morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Shaun Tamane. I hold an undergraduate degree in the Bachelor of Social Sciences in Political Science and International Relations, and a postgraduate degree honors in Political Studies with the Northwest University. As you know, welcome to my YouTube channel. And the focus today is identify and discuss problems of sovereignty in African states. And one thing of importance that I want you to always focus on is every time you're given such an assignment topic, you need to really focus on the words that make up the assignment question. And we have two important or key words here. The first one is identify, and the second one is discuss. Now, the most important thing to do now is to look at the first word, which is identify. Now, this part requires you to pinpoint specific instances or situations where sovereignty of African states is being challenged or compromised. You need to find concrete examples, not just general statements. Now, the most important key word there as well is discuss. Now, this goes beyond listing problems, right? You need to analyze and explain the nature of the problem. Given the assignment question, you need to pick up what is the actual problem that is being asked or being tasked of you to find out and to explain into full detail, that is. And that is the reason why for discuss. Also, the impact. How is the challenge affecting the state's ability to govern itself independently? What are the consequences for its citizens? And you also need to focus on the underlying causes. What are the root causes of the sovereignty problems? Most importantly, potential solutions or responses. How can African states address these challenges and maintain their sovereignty? I would usually put this as part of my conclusion when I look at the recommendations, perhaps. But it depends on the level of study in which you are undertaking your studies. Sometimes it's not a requirement, but just to show that you've went beyond understanding the assignment question and you've went beyond the research, you could just include that. So now here's the most important part about understanding or analyzing such a assignment question. You need to also look at possible areas in which you would explore. For one, you need to look at the internal challenges. Political instability. And we know that African states are prone to a lot of political instability. So we look at the coups, or coup d'etat. We look at the civil wars. We look at the ethnic conflicts. And we look at weak governance structures. These are the internal challenges, which ultimately what? Serve as a challenge to the sovereignty of African states, right? So now we look also at the economic dependence, over-reliance on foreign aid or single commodity leading to external influence. So many examples. And we look at the internal rebellions and insurgencies, which are groups seeking autonomy or succession, and we have the external challenges. One of the external challenges is neocolonialism, which is an economic and political influence from former colonial powers or other external actors. We look at the interventionism, which is military intervention by foreign powers, often under the guise of humanitarian aid or counter-terrorism. I think we have many examples. Global power struggles. We look at the geopolitical competition between major powers playing out within African states. Now, it is important to also remember to provide specific examples. Cite concrete cases of sovereignty challenges in African states or African countries. And you need to also support your arguments with evidence. Use credible sources such as academic journals, news articles and reports from international organizations. And one other part of my notes here is that you need to offer a balanced perspective, acknowledge the complexities of these issues, and consider multiple viewpoints. Now here we have to go back to our assignment topic, identify and discuss problems of sovereignty in African states. And I think now that since all we've identified, we have now come to task of knowing what these words mean, it is important now to also go to an important part in the assignment topic, and that is in defining sovereignty. So you already now understand what it means to identify, what it means to discuss. Now there's that word there that is sovereignty. Now with the notes that I've compiled here, this is how I define sovereignty. In order to explain what expands sovereignty, it is pivotal that I firstly explain what a state is. According to Bulesba, 1999, a state in international law is one that encompasses and fulfills the elements of having, namely, an indefinite population, a defined territory, and a government with continuum control over its domestic affairs and is able to conduct international relations with other states. Sovereignty bestows the primary basis for the interaction that occur between nation states. And then Kressner, 2001, chapter 9 said that supplements this assertion by asserting that a state that is regarded as sovereign is one that is seen to have judicial equality or jurisdictional equality, in which it has the capacity to form and assume binding relations with other sovereign nations through agreements. According to Steinberger, 1987, page 414, sovereignty in the sense of contemporary public international law denotes the basic international legal status of a state that is not subject within its territorial jurisdiction to the governmental, executive, legislative, or judicial jurisdiction of a foreign state or to foreign law other than public international law. So this also forms part of your assignment focus. It also forms part of the body of your assignment. So I do not just define what sovereignty is, but in actual sense, I'm also including it as part of an important component in addressing or tackling the assignment question. So now this also what it denotes essentially is that you need to show that you've taken to task what are the fundamental or keywords within the assignment topic. So in simple sense, these notions that signify sovereignty in the context of jurisprudence or international law address the concept as one which is indicative of independence. Independence. Even so, the rightful concept of sovereignty is one ascribed by supremacy. That is to say that a state holds authority which is regarded as superior relative to other forms of authorities within one territorial jurisdiction. So countries should be, more especially independent democratic countries, should be able to take decisions, internal decisions, towards how they conduct their affairs. They must not receive any outside influence, or their state or social being or political landscape should not be influenced by outside forces. So essentially, that is the focus of your assignment question, which is identify and discuss problems of sovereignty in African states. So assignment question in general in its own, it's sort of like taking you to a certain direction. It's saying you should discuss the problems, meaning that there are existing problems. So you do not necessarily have to argue against the assignment question, but you have to rather support it and support it with evidence that there are problems with sovereignty in African states. So now moving forward, now you've understood the words, the underlying keywords within your assignment. You've understood what sovereignty is. Now we have to tackle the problems of sovereignty in African states. As I follow through to my notes,